Welcome, everybody, to the Villa View. And do not adjust your sets once again. It's one of those rare occasions where Dan Bardell isn't going to be with us tonight. And I don't know whatever moment the madness came across him, but he said, "Hey, you Irish guy, any chance you'll be able to present the Villa View tonight?" But I'm not on my own, as we can see. Mr. Bracey is with me as well. And we're hopefully going to bring a nice end to the weekend for everybody as we chat through the brilliant win, Villa 3, Everton 0, that happened at Villa Park yesterday. Ty, were you there?
Yes, I was. Yes. I
Talk to
got
me.
snapped. I got snapped by the Villa photographer, which is like something I've always dreamed of, and it happened. And the Villa statue page posted a photo saying "Good night, villains," and then someone tagged me. He's like, "Is that you?" I was like, "You're damn right it is." So it's now my header on Twitter. But yesterday, I don't know if it's Villa Park under the lights because it was quite light, but then it was slowly getting dark. They put the lights on, or whether it's just Everton and a late kickoff. It's a thing of beauty. It's a thing of magic. And yesterday was one of those magical days where everything in my soul just said, I love this club.
Yeah, same with me. Well, it's 3-0 does that to you as well, Ty, doesn't it? Having a 3-0 win will do that. But look, I suppose we could all get very sentimental and look back and harken back to the great historic games that we've seen between Villa and Everton. Obviously, the most played game in league football. And maybe it's that. Maybe it's the ghosts of past games come along and light it up that small bit more. But, we seem to relish the challenge of Everton Football Club at the moment. And Aston Villa seem to have their number. And I know didn't really look like that for good portions of the first half, but the second half we really made adjustments at halftime and came into it for sure. But I suppose before we get on to talk about the game first, you mentioned there about being in the stadium. It sounded unbelievably loud at times on the TV. Was it rocking in Villa Park yesterday? Or is that a stupid question?
Yeah, it was. It really was. I mean, I sit in Holt Lower. That's where my season ticket is. But I don't think you really appreciate the noise of the Holt end unless you're not in it. So that night when we beat Everton, I wasn't in the Holt end. And I was like, is this what we sound like from like another stand? But the noise, it was quite deafening. Danny, evening gents, my ears are still ringing. Yeah, it's, we all sung our heart out. I've only really got my voice back a little bit today. I was croaking at Crocusing yesterday, but there's nothing better than a feel-good factor at Villa Park on an evening. It's just magical. I'm still buzzing now, to be honest, mate.
It's great as well to be able to do it on TV because, look, no matter what way we dress it up and no matter what side of the bread we butter it, there's always going to be that little bit of a question mark around the team. We haven't got results against teams that we should have gotten previously or so far this year, should I say. And then, we go to Chelsea, we play well. Is the team really set up to win games in the Premier League? Or are we going to be lucky losers quite a lot without Jack Grealish? Then we go into this game yesterday and just, we now have a new hero to talk about, really, albeit he was only on the field for 21 minutes. Leon Bailey, is he as fast in real life as he looks on TV?
It was a magical moment. As soon as I seen the touch from the header, but that ball from Danny Ings, let's be honest, was a thing of beauty. Like, it was as good as the Kovacic ball last week.
Yes.
Thing of beauty. And he said in an interview afterwards that he hit the ball that hard that he injured himself. That, honestly, mate, the power that went, he's genuinely come out and said that. And the power, there was no way anybody was saving that, mate. I don't even think Emmy would have saved that if it was the other way around. But honestly, mate, a thing of beauty, an absolute. And the limbs, because obviously the floodgates have opened after the first one. And the limbs was just nuts, mate. Honestly, there was body parts everywhere.
That's look, I can't wait to get back over. And as I say, it'll probably be after Christmas before I get back over to Villa Park again. But I can't wait to get over there and to have a moment like that. And fingers crossed, there'll be lots more between now and then, and that they don't wait for me to get over until after Christmas, because I need this team to keep on winning and winning and winning. I suppose let's go back to kind of the start of the game. The team sheet was announced. Obviously, we had Emiliano Martinez is back again. He'd literally just flown into the country. I think it's something crazy like 5 a.m. in the morning.
2 a.m.
And 2 a.m. in the morning. Yeah. So basically, got back into the country. For a goalkeeper, I suppose that was okay. And he was named in the starting 11. But I suppose really the biggest piece for Villa, I think, was everybody was thinking that did we play this 3-5-2 to try and mesmerize a Chelsea team, and maybe was that why we got so much luck against Chelsea? But then we go out and we play it at home against this Everton team. Was, I suppose, and I know I listened to the pod with the guys previous in the actual preview that they did previously, but did people around the ground think that we were actually going to go with a three at the back, and were people enthused about that?
I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I didn't think. I mean, we had spoke about it when we did post-match point on Chelsea. It was me, you, and Bardell, wasn't it? And we said we don't know if it'll be a formation that we see against everybody, but we've gone into the game with the same mindset. Obviously, Dean's not thinking that Buendia's ready, because I do struggle to see where Buendia starts in that formation. I think it'd have to be more of a 3-4-3 than a 3-5-2 if we were to do that. But when we seen the team sheet, it was promising. I was excited. I was excited to see some more Ings and Watkins link up play. Excited to see the middle three do the bits, and they did do the bits. Jacob Ramsey again, great game. Dougie Luiz, great game. John McGinn. I thought John McGinn had actually like a leg injury, but wasn't it his eye or his head?
Yeah.
I mean, there was a few wobbly moments in the first half defensively. We struggled to break them down. They struggled to break us down. And second half, we've 60 minutes. I'm quite good at predicting the subs, and I did say to one of my best mates, Liam, who sits next to me, I said I reckon Leon Bailey 60 minutes, and he was coming on. He actually came on bang on the 60th minute, and then that was where the tables turned. That was where the floodgates opened, and we were ready for business. So unreal to see him do bits, mate. I feel like this is just going to be absolute Leon Bailey fan club here, mate.
I think so, and I think he earned an awful lot of fans last night. Match of the day, couldn't stop talking about him. They couldn't stop talking about him on the TV last night either, directly after the game as well. It's not very often that if a guy comes on and in 21 minutes gets man of the match, comes on, gets taken off, and still gets man of the match. Usually if you come on, you get taken off, everyone's wondering, oh, he's going to be sold in January. He's going to be bombed out of the squad. But what an absolute brilliant cameo. And we'll get on and we'll talk about his cameo.
I seen a stat on the back of that about the last time that happened. So I think it was Julian Joachim, who I think in 2002, he come on as a sub, came on, scored, and then went off again. I think Leon Bailey was the first person to do that since Julian Joachim in 2002.
Absolutely amazing. I wouldn't have thought anybody did it, but for it to be Julian Joachim that did it as well, that's probably another statistic in itself. Going back to the formation, Tuanzebe, like, well, it looked like it on TV anyway when I was watching it. My God, he's so assured. And I suppose when he came into the club, I was kind of wondering, were they going to try and fit him into this back three, or what were they going to do? Were they going to, like, was there going to be some crazy clause in there that he has to play X amount of games during his loan? I don't care whether he used to play X amount of games during his loan now. He's come in, he plays that central role very well. And I think what it does is it allows Mings then a small bit more leverage on the left-hand side, because, Mings is one of our outlets to try and get the ball forward. And he's able to do that and able to move with people on the left-hand side as well. But Tuanzebe, I think, was an absolute rock last night. I think he did an awful lot of great work, and he was up against Rondon, who I know he didn't score, but he was there around corners. His movement was okay, and I think Everton's biggest issues came from, number one, the fact that they had lots of injuries beforehand. Calvert-Lewin was injured, and they had quite a few people out, but a lot of their issues, I think, came from midfield. But Tuanzebe made sure that nothing was played in behind him, and I think he had a very, very good game. What do you think yourself?
I'm really impressed with that back three together, to be fair. Like you, Neil, I was unsure of where he would fit into the system, whether it'd be rotation. There was whispers of, he's going to be playing DM. I was really impressed with his performance yesterday. I think he had a great game. I think he's defensively brilliant. I think he's incredible alongside Konza and Mings. I really like them as a back three, and I really like that they're all getting consistent minutes, because I think that's important. I hope that we sign him. assuming he has a season like he's having now and the consistency carries on, I really hope he. What are you smirking at now? Like,
I couldn't read the screen, and I had to literally.
okay.
I nearly head-butted my camera to try and read the screen to see what the comments said.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of him, mate. I'm over the moon that we've got him back. You know, it's not just one of those where it's let's bring him back, the nostalgia. Like, he's coming in and showing he can do it in the Prem. Absolute fair play to him. And it's an important time in his career for him because he's not getting minutes at United. He's getting minutes at Villa. And whether he ends up staying with us or not, he's showing that he is of Premier League quality. And that's what I love. He's hungry to succeed, and he's doing it with Villa. So happy all round there, mate.
Yeah, showed that he wanted to come back to the club again for a third time. You know what? Maybe this might be his stopping point. Maybe he doesn't go back to Man United. Maybe he stays here. And look, I think based on what we've seen in the chemistry that this back three has, obviously a chemistry with Mings previously. You know, Konsa is one of the most underrated players in the whole Premier League for me. And I genuinely mean that. I mean that in any position. I think Konsa is one of the most underrated players, and he can fit in anywhere. So this isn't hyperbole after a 3-0 win. I think that genuinely our back three are a real strong asset for this club. And I'd be delighted to see Tuanzebe stay on for after his loan spell and stay here for good afterwards. But
have you seen the video of when Bailey scored off the corner? He screams in the Everton player's face, like laughing at him. I don't know who it was. I don't know who the Everton player was, mate, but that absolutely rattled me. I was creasing.
Let's talk about a couple of the goals because look, we've talked about a coming of age, and we've talked about a new hero within the team, but I think that there was something absolutely magical happened yesterday. You said there was something that small bit different yesterday in Villa Park under the lights and everything, but I think the most magical thing I saw was that Matty Cash has a left leg. That first goal, he took no prisoners. Talk me through it, Ty, and what was your thoughts on it?
I'll be honest, at that moment where he's about to shoot, I was, no, square it, Central, you've got to square it. And then he's just absolutely thumped it with a left, and it's just flew in. And then I assume he's run over to his box where his family are, and he's enjoyed every minute of it. And fair play to him. It's his first goal for Villa, and what a night to do it. You know, he's opened the floodgates, and he's left that stadium. Absolutely, I've scored. Scoring your first goal for Villa would probably be one thing, but scoring your first goal for Villa and then them go on to win 3-0 against a very good side, warranted. They were missing a few decent ballers, Richarlison and DCL, but that feeling would be incredible for him, Neil. It was an absolute rocket, mate. He was a rocket.
He had the most shots of anybody in the game as well. He had 3 shots.
He had a point to prove, mate. He had a point to prove. And
also, I read a statistic, I think it came up during the game as well, whereby he's had the most passes inside the box, or into both passes inside the box and into the box of any Aston Villa football player this season. So, pretty creative there in the right wing. And yes, he's had his down moments, and he will have more up moments than down moments. And that Watford game wasn't really healthy for anybody either playing or watching. But, he's coming good. He's after scoring his goal, and I'm absolutely thrilled. And look, if you can get a player, an attacking right back for 18 million, somebody who had only played there for a season just about previous to that, and he's come in, he's taken to the Premier League like a duck to water. And he's I know his name is Matty Cash, and he's and he's born in England, but we could have a Polish Cafu as well on our hands if Poland have their way. They're looking to entice him to play there.
Yeah, I've heard about that, but I kind of feel sorry for him in a way, because a right back is a position that we are heavily overloaded with great talent at right back. And, it's just unfortunate, but what a great position to be in for an England manager, that you've got that much depth in that position where if you lose 2 or 3, you can still put, I'll be honest, even the number 9 in England, there's so many talented English number 9s. And, I don't want to go off topic too much of going on to England, but just English number 9s. In general, I feel like there's an influx. Statman Dave, Matty Cash going by numbers versus Everton. That's crazy.
Some great statistics there. especially for right back. Well, I suppose, look, right back, some people use as, I'm not going to say a derogatory term. Some of the, there's some unbelievable right backs at the moment, but I don't think we can really even call Matty Cash a right back the way in this formation is played. He's definitely playing. Our formation is almost like a 4-5-2. Or sorry, a 3-5-2. 4-5-2 would be under investigation, but a 3-5-2, I think, at the moment, and he's definitely playing more. I wouldn't even call him a wing back. I'd call him a winger, because Konza spends a lot of his time covering out as far as the sideline, and so does Mings, as we saw Mings getting turned against Chelsea. But yesterday he wasn't turned at all, and he was able to get out to that sideline. He was able to put in the tackles, and I think tactically they kind of worked in an awful lot better. And even when McGinn went off, and that's probably then something that we will talk about in a moment. Even when McGinn went off, when the Kamba came on, Douglas Luiz was excellent at sweeping that area there. But I was really impressed at how he went forward as well. He was on the edge of the area. Usually there's a kind of a stop mark in the field where Douglas Luiz isn't allowed pass. But when he was unleashed up a small bit more forward into kind of an 8 position from the 6 position, I thought he played really, really well as well there. And he was everywhere that McGinn would have been as well. And we didn't. I'm not going to say we didn't miss McGinn, but the fact that he got off was minimised, I suppose, by the fact that we were still able to keep that structure and shape in the middle of midfield field as well. But yeah, McGinn went off. He got a bit of a tap in it. When it was more than a tap in the head, it was just before he kind of jumped higher than the guy that he was jumping with, and then I think it was Michael Keane then jumped upwards and kind of caught him. But that was like something in the 9th or 10th minute or something. It was early on in the game, and he played on for another 25 minutes or so before he was taken off. I think I'm not quite sure.
I think he was dizzy. I think he went off to his dizzy.
I thought, I'm not quite sure what he said. I think he said, I think I'm going to get sick to somebody. I think I'm going to get sick. That's what he said to them. And that's a sure sign of concussion as well. God knows I've had a couple of them before, but that's a sure sign of it. And, hopefully he's going to be okay.
Oh, okay. He was a concussion substitution.
He was,
so that makes sense, because I was scratching. So I didn't know at that point that his injury was head related. I thought he'd gone off with like a muscle strain or something. So when we had made our 4th sub, I was like, I swear that's our 4th sub. And it was. So
yeah. And I didn't know the rules either, whereby because Villa get a concussion substitution, Everton could immediately have 4 subs regardless of concussion or not.
Oh, really?
They can immediately have 4 subs. I kind of like that. I like that little wrinkle to the rule as well, so that it means that one team isn't getting an advantage, but we're still taking care of player welfare. So I kind of like that. But Godspeed to John McCain. Hopefully he's okay again. I'm sure there'll be lots of light tests done on him to make sure that he doesn't have any sensitivity and all that jazz from concussions. And hopefully he'll be back on the field next week against Manchester United. But second goal was quite an interesting one, because I think everybody in the ground must have thought that it was straight from a corner, and there was shades of Steve Staunton from back in, I think, 1995 when he got a goal. I'm disappointed Paddy isn't here. Paddy be able to tell me every minute Steve Staunton played for Villa, because he's his favorite player of all time. But Leon Bailey just introduced onto the field, and next thing, what does he do? Austin McPhee says to him, go on there and score directly from a corner, Leon. Sure, that's what we're going to try this time. What did you guys make of it?
It'd be a nice boy. I think it was a bit of a shock for everybody. And when you watch it in slow-mo and you see Begovic, he knows as soon as it's clipped, cue the French beams, Luca Digne, once it's clipped his head. Producer Adam's nodding, shaking his head like, oh God. Once he had a flick on, he knew he didn't even have to look. He knew it had gone straight over his head and in the net. And it was a bit of a surprise for all of us, to be fair, but some corner it was. I mean, I'll give it to the bloke. He's got some whip on him from that side of the pitch in a corner. I'd have him on them all day, every day, if he's going to be putting in balls like that. Even if it didn't go in, he's putting the balls into a dangerous place, and beating the first man has been a very stressful, aggravating time at Villa. Our set pieces have been absolutely dross until we've brought in Don McPhee, who, I'll be honest, you can see it's working. I tweeted about this earlier. If you're in the ground, as soon as there's a set piece of any form, a throw-in, he's straight out of his seat, arms folded, and his eyes are glued, and he's straight on it. And that, I can't remember what happened in the build-up, but I remember it being Barcelona-esque, where Danny Ings has had a shot on the outside of his boot and it's spooned over. But the whole play that led up to that was incredible.
I was just about to bring it up. Yeah, so it was a free, and it was a free whereby what they did was, I think it was, I can't remember who was taking the free. I think it might have been Douglas Luiz. And instead of just playing it directly into the box, he played it square from the free to someone. And then you could see everything shifted. The players started moving. The Everton players didn't know what was going on. And everybody moved, we'll call it, from right to left as the camera was looking at it. So then the ball was clipped into Konza, who was at the back post, headed it across the goals. Mings got ahead to it. And then it just fell the way it fell to Ings being or swung or right-footed it. And it was an unbelievable trajectory the ball took. It was like it was anti-geometry.
If that was on target, I'm telling you.
Oh
mate.
It would have been going to the season without a shadow of a doubt. But
that's Aston McPhee, a lifetime contract, because you just know that that's come from his play. And if it hasn't, then it's some substantial fluke. But that didn't look like a fluke to me.
I think the shot was a definite fluke. The shot was a definite fluke, but it was how they moved everybody. It was just a simple square ball. Like he just played it square by 15 yards across I think it was target. I think that's who it was. And then you could just see there was consternation. It's like, whoa, what's going on here? Do we go to him? What do we do here? And it was clipped in, kept Konza was at the back post with Alan. I think it was somebody smaller than him anyway at the back post. And I'm probably throwing out completely wrong names here. But you get you know what I'm talking about anyway, the chance. But it was fantastic. And I think directly after that, McPhee was actually, he was outside the dugout. When he went back into the dugout, Neil Cutler, and we know last year Neil Cutler was very heavily involved with set pieces and things like that as well. Cutler was like giving him, like there was a big massive smile and they were discussing it. And, everything was great to see. And you'd imagine that there's still some input there as well, but he went straight for Neil Cutler to discuss it with him in the dugout afterwards. And, it's becoming, and actually I didn't have this written down on my rundown sheet, but I'm going to actually mention it here because, like, you can't, if nothing else, on TV, like every time there's a set piece, they mention him, or they mention the fact that Aston Villa have put effort into set pieces. And I don't care who you are, even if you're a professional footballer, you're going to be going into games going, right, lads, we have to look after set pieces here for Villa. And the set pieces might still be, no, they're not bad, but the set pieces might be still shocking. But if you get a reputation for being good at set pieces, people will be mentally frail at set pieces on the other team, and they'll be worried about it, and they'll be consistently like hearts in their mouths going, what are they going to do here? They've done something crazy in every game. We don't know what's going on. So much so that the commentators and the game even had the rule. They even had confirmed the rule whereby if Matty Cash was allowed to use the towel, then Everton were allowed to use the towel as well if they wanted to. Just so that, like, all this mad stuff that people feel they have to clarify now because Aston Villa have a set piece coach out of nowhere. It's crazy. It's crazy. And it must be to everybody's benefit in the club.
Absolutely. As I said, mate, it's noticeable on the pitch. And it puts us in a great position that we can be a little bit unpredictable in those set pieces. Because, I mean, realistically, in the last few years, have you ever been hopeful when there was a set piece coming in of any form? We were lucky if we held possession off a throw-in. And I swear it used to make me want to bang my head off the wall because we literally couldn't retain possession from a throw-in. It was the most frustrating thing in the world. So to see Matty Cash, draw up the ball, and he's got some arms on him, that lad. I'm telling you, he's more than capable of whipping one into the box. But I don't think that's the even touching the sides of the highlight reel of the greatness of Don McPhee. I think there's loads to come, mate. I think we're going to see some beautiful moments this season, all on his brain.
And all it is just doing something different because everybody expects set pieces to be the same way they've been for the last 60 years. It's just a case of doing something different. And you know what he seems to do is literally it's this simple. Everything is aimed towards a tall person. Isn't that's just like mind blowing? Like, why didn't anybody think of that before? But we don't want to go on too much because there's a load of load of fans from other clubs that are watching this, non-Villa fans, they're going to know all our secrets. So we better shut up about our secret sauce there in Nanny McPhee. And,
hands off.
Yeah, hands off him is right. Yeah, even you, Scotland, you're not allowed to have him for too long. He's ours. Okay. Let's go into goal number 3, because we did touch on it a small bit earlier on. But goal number 3 was really the icing on the cake. And yeah, Ooh. Exactly. Very, very simple. And it's something that Villa have been doing all season, is no matter when we're, as much as we can, should I say, when we're defending down one wing, we try and keep somebody high up the field. And in this instance, it was Bailey. And to be honest with you, I think he was way too high up the field from where I've seen El Ghazi or anybody else has been this season, but it worked out. But my God, Danny Ings, what a pass from Danny Ings to be able to, and I know he had an acreage to kick the ball into, but like brilliant from Ings, absolutely excellent. And then, you know, say la vie, the rest is history. He nearly took Begovic's soul with it. He kicked the ball.
It was one of those goals, I won't swear on Villa View, but it was on those goals where you see it and you go, pick that out your effing net. Like, you know, where you just like the power in it. You could see the power in it. And it was a special moment for him as well, obviously, with what he was showing on his top of one of his friends who passed away due to COVID complications. Yeah, Steffi Graf was, I think, a Twitch streamer who was a friend of his. I might be completely wrong there, but I think that's right.
Steffi Gregg, I think is what it was. Steffi Graf was someone completely different. I hope she didn't pass away, because I
wasn't she a tennis player?
She was a tennis player for sure.
Was it Steffi Gregg? Oh, sorry, man.
Sorry to any Steffi Graf fans as well. We're not breaking news here at all. She's not dead. Still alive and kicking, I think. The last night.
Oh, he's Steffi Gregg. Oh God, that's absolutely poor for me. That is.
Clip that one out there, someone clip that one out there.
But the worst part is, I posted that photo on Twitter myself, and I've obviously just not read it. I was on dad duties last night, so we'll blame that.
Yeah, that's okay. You're excused. You're excused.
But yeah, I mean, a shame we only got to see 20 minutes, but a genuine, exciting player to watch on the pitch, and I am so excited. I don't want him to have too great of a season, just because I don't want clubs to come knocking. Because Dan Bardell, Ty Bracey loves his tennis. Bardell, you're not allowed to watch this if you're not allowed to present this. All right, bug off you. You're not allowed. Go on, off your pop, son. Boring Bardell ain't welcome here tonight.
I know. Look, this is our birthday present to Master Dan.
But yeah, I'm really excited to see him throughout the season. I just hope that he can stay fit. I mean, it doesn't sound like this time around it's anything serious, but I'm really excited to just see him do some greatness at Villa Park, and he's very clearly loved already. So
it's great. I got a touch of cockiness from him as well, which I absolutely love. I'm a stickler for somebody who puffs the chest out and is like, yeah, sure, I'm able to do this because I'm brilliant. Like, that's why I love Zlatan. You know, he's just this air of confidence about him, about if I fail, I fail, but I'm not going to fail because I'm so brilliant.
Do you know what the crazy thing is for me, Neil? Sorry to interrupt, is that the Craig Butler scenario with the announcement video was possibly the worst thing I've ever seen to do with a player signing for a club. And I think everyone was terrified and thought he was going to be a crook. But Craig Butler is living in my head rent-free because he's a genius. Yeah. Like, Craig Butler is a genius. Like, he's actually a genius. He's literally raised a family of footballers. To be fair, I'd love to go and watch his squad that he's brought over, who have been playing against the young ones. I'd love to see what, you know, some flair from some of the young guys from Jamaica. I'd love to see that. But yeah, it turns out that Craig Butler is actually a clever footballing brain. Who would have thought it after all?
Yeah, Agent Butler. But for sure, look, and I suppose, look, if he's got any more sons, half sons, even people that aren't his sons, you know, as a good footballer, send them our way if they're as fast and as exciting as Leon Bailey. But I don't think the injury is going to be too bad to Bailey, because Bailey kind of alluded to the fact, he said, we were 3-0 up, I'd done my bit, I came off, there was no point in staying on. And I love that kind of cockiness from a player. I absolutely love it. I could never be that cocky myself. My whole Irish guilt would never allow me to be that way, but I love watching other people do that. It's just fantastic. And, you know, a bit of swagger is always nice to have.
It's just a great way to end the week. It
Oh, yeah.
starts your Monday, right? And I don't think when people say that football's just a game, like, Neil, how good has your feel good factor been since the game? Have you literally been on cloud nine since the game? I know it's only a few games into the season. You know, I know it's early on. You know, it's not like something crazy's happened. We've won the cup or anything like that. But here we go. Look at this table. Just sat in 10th in a nice place. We've started the season off a bit wobbly with a few injuries. Absolutely fine. We had a good full fit squad yesterday. Didn't end with one, but we had a good full fit squad yesterday. I just feel really optimistic. I don't think we've got anything to worry about. And genuinely, last week there was people saying we were going to be in a relegation battle, and I just
people were saying we were going to be between Brentford and Watford, and we are.
And I'll be honest, I think Brentford are going to be pushing for the top 10.
Why not?
Brentford are not relegation fodder, and anyone who comes out with points from Brentford as a team, their style of football, the way they play football, is more suited for the Prem than the Championship. 100%. I think they're going to have a great season, and you know, Brentford's nothing to frown upon. I think we're going to have a good season, mate. I ain't going to do any predictions of where I think we'll finish, because we've got some tough fixtures ahead that are going to keep things very real. You know, we're on cloud nine now, but we've got some tough games ahead. So, you know, we need to keep level-headed to an extent. And, you know, these are teams that ain't messing about in the league this year.
You mentioned about a full squad coming into the game. And I still think, to be honest with you, you know, the two injuries that we got are the two people that had to go off, and Bailey and McGinn. They're not going to be long term in the slightest. They won't be playing against Chelsea, put it that way, in midweek. But I think there's probably every possibility we see both of those available again for next weekend. But having this squad come back together for the first time this season, that I think 3-0 win and everything is fantastic, but the fact that we could win 3-0 and then still have this squad come back together must be a real shot in the arm for Dean Smith, because look, it's been a crazy week where people have been questioning, and was it Football Insider's crazy article saying that there's
you're not allowed to talk about them on here. They're blacklisted on the Villa View.
Sorry, Dan. But
I don't know if they are, but they literally just. They are not a real source of football.
No, they're fake news.
Not. And the thing is, the part of the problem is people are so gullible online. I mean, I fell for a few before. There's a few accounts that will pretending to be the official Villa account, and you just can't. Especially Footy Insider, they just talk nonsense, man. We've got nothing to worry about.
But the thing was, like, it got a conversation. I know there's nothing to worry about, but it got a conversation amongst fans on Twitter about, well, maybe the grass is greener without Dean Smith. I think it would be the biggest heads gone if we were to get rid of Dean Smith this year, because I think that this year while it is a prove it year, he's only just getting the tools back right now, and having this squad plus a 3-0 win, it must be absolute music to his ears, because you know, we've already seen him make a formation change. We've already seen him use 23 players or 22 players, I think, already this season already. Something manic altogether, the amount of players he's used anyway this season. So I'm looking forward to him having a settled squad. As we mentioned, he now has an extra string to his bow, and he's set piece coach. He's brought in Danks, he's brought in Shakespeare, and having all this stuff together is really, really going to make his life easier. And that comment that's on the screen there as well about Jacob Ramsey, I can't really read it.
It says, do you think that Jacob Ramsey is in contention to start every week? Pretty much.
I do. I 100% do. And that's what you mentioned earlier on about Buendia. Like, where do we fit him in? And I think it may not be as much where do we fit him in. It's, you know, he has to wait his turn behind Jacob Ramsey.
Yeah, I mean, I knew there was a player in there, obviously young, talented, but the last few games he has shocked isn't the right word, but he's definitely been like, wow, okay, you know, he's really coming with a point to prove. You know, Morgan Sanson he's fighting for his place, and fair play to him. He's showing that he's worthy. He's showing that he deserves to be starting every game, and rightly so. He's been given an opportunity, and he's absolutely grabbed it by the balls. So fair play to him, mate. Really fair play to him.
I 100% agree. He's been my breakout player anyway this year, for sure. Like he's exceeded expectations from what I have of him already. It would have been lovely if he'd stuck that one in the bottom corner. Just at the end of the game, we were up 3-0. He should have laid it off to Ings. We would have won 4-0. But look, he was dead right to have a goal. It'd be great for his confidence to get a goal and to keep things ticking over for himself with his progression. And to be honest with you, Smith loves him. Smith absolutely loves him. He name checked him and everything before the game, and I'm almost certain he name checked him again after the game as well. And that must be worth £1 million to him, to have that kind of endorsement coming from the team manager. So fair play to the young kid and to all the young guys who are getting a chance there. We've already seen Carney playing there. We've seen Philogene Bides on the bench and stuff like that. And they will know, they'll want to be part
Cameron
of it.
Archer was on the bench.
Cameron Archer was on the bench. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Unreal.
And they'll all know that, yeah, look, there are guys ahead of us, because they're not going to be that headstrong. They're going to know there are guys ahead of us, but they're going to want to be part of a progressive team and a growing team, and a team that is stable, but also a team that is winning, the structure that is stable, and a team that is winning. And the way you do that is, guess what? You keep your manager and you keep it as stable as possible, because you parachute him out at any stage during the course of the season. We've just spent the bones of 100 million. We will need to go away and spend another 100 million again. And much and all as I love a good transfer window, it's well documented. Like, there'll come a time that if we don't need to buy new players and we only need to buy to fill certain holes, well, then we'll be fighting it out. That will mean that we're good enough to fight it out with the likes of the Leicesters and the Liverpools and the Spurs and the Chelseas. And that's what you can aspire for, So, and if we get them through our academy, all the better. Absolutely, all the better. It'd be more fantastic. And we'd all, everybody loves a good homegrown hero anyway. So more power 100%. To Jacob Ramsey, and hopefully he stays in the squad for a long, long time to come. The purity code, guys, I nearly forgot about it. Get a few beers.
We did at the start. Luckily, Dan weren't listening. You would have had angry text messages.
I haven't checked my phone. I could still have those. Hashtag VillaView. You get 10% off for purity with the purity code, and fill your boots with it. As if the team keeps winning, you got to keep on celebrating with purity, guys, because they're a good sponsor here of this podcast and a good sponsor of Aston Villa as well. So it is support your own. Is what I'm trying to say here in a very, very long-winded way. So hashtag VillaView for all your alcoholic needs. Alcohol needs, not alcoholic needs. Drink responsibly. Damn, I'm tying myself in circles. See, this is why I'm not allowed to host this podcast.
I was going to untangle you from it, Neil, but it was comical to watch you. Do you know what, Neil?
You talk about Steffi Graf and me calling everybody alcoholics. Now we're going to get sacked off this podcast.
Yeah, I think this is our last where Bardal can't make it. I don't think me and you on the roster for the next one, mate.
We've been all right. We'll put up a poll on Twitter and see.
But Neil, genuinely, there's not many people in the world I'd want to wax lyrical about with Villa more on a Sunday night after a 3-0 win on a Saturday evening. Obviously, I'm referring to the game. I know it's not Saturday evening now.
I know.
But yeah, I really appreciate Dan and Adam getting me and Neil on. So
yeah,
up the Villa from me.
Absolutely.
I'll let you outro, Neil, but that's up the Villa from me.
And that's exactly it, guys. We're after a 3-0 win. The positivity is flowing. The bromance is flowing here. You can see it coming, feel it coming out through your screens. And not just a bromance between myself and Ty. It's a bromance, I think, between a lot of fans in Aston Villa Football Club. Leon Bailey, not just Leon Bailey, should I say, but between the fans and Aston Villa Football Club. And that's the way we want it, because we're strong, we're proud, we're a progressive football club. And yeah, look, long may it continue. So thanks everybody for watching. As I say, hashtag VillaView for purity. Get 10% off any of their goods as well there. I'm sure the guys are going to be back again with a pod midweek, maybe something after the Carabao Cup game. I'll let the guys on social look after that. But fantastic win. We're climbing up the table. We're in 10th position and onwards and upwards from here. And I suppose really, all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa!